Hey guys, welcome to today's video. So today's video is going to be me decluttering my primers and concealers. I was going to do the whole face category, but then I realized how long that's going to take, especially with bronzer, blush, and highlight. So we're going to go by drawer of what I have. So the first drawer that I have in my little setup here is going to be primers and concealers. So we're going to go into that. So we're going to be going through all 46 of my face primers, including all the samples, the minis, and the full-size products, and also my 19 concealers, which I have 17 full-size products and my voice too, which I have 17 full-size products and then 2 packet little samples that I have that I think I did end up keeping both of them, but just go and watch the video. Don't listen to me right now. I mean, listen to me, but like, forget I said that. So basically I have this bag on the left of the frame, and this bag is going to be products that I'm going to be passing along, and then I also have another bag full of products that need to get thrown out because they're either old, expired, or both. I guess old and expired is pretty much the same thing when it comes to makeup. Basically stuff that I don't feel comfortable passing along to somebody else. I don't want this video to be a million years long. So with that being said, we're going to go into decluttering my primers and my concealers on this video. This face, and then we're going to go ahead and start off with primer. For reference, I do have a total of 46 primers, and how this is going to work is I have 2 bags. This one is going to be for products that I can pass along, and then this one is going to be products that are too old and need to get thrown out. Anything that stays on the table, I'm going to keep in my collection. So I think I want to start off with packet samples, and we're just going to go through them really quickly. Now this Lancome base, I don't really feel anything in here. It's kind of old, it's going to get thrown out. Same thing with this Peter Thomas Roth. I just don't have an interest in it, so this one can probably be passed along if anybody wants to try it. This one is the Makeup Forever hydrating base. I have a couple of hydrating primers that I have and I like, and this one's kind of old, so this is just gonna get thrown out. These are my Farsali primers. Now these are kind of newer, and I am interested in trying these 2 out, so these are staying. This is the NARS one. Doesn't really feel like there's much in here. The last one is the Hangover. Now I do have a smaller size of the Hangover primer, so this one can just get passed along. Now we're gonna go ahead and start over here with this one. This is the Revlon Photo Ready. Now I did get this off of a recommendation from Taylor Wen. Now I don't see much of a difference, but I haven't played around with it too much, so I would like to use it a few more times to form an opinion, so this is staying. Next one is this one from e.l.f. This is the e.l.f. Poreless Face Primer. I have recommended this in the past. I do think it's a decent pore filling primer if you want that kind of a feel. It doesn't really do too much for pores, but it does leave a good canvas for makeup, which I do like this one, so this one is going to be staying. The next one is this one from Touch in Sol. This is a no pore blend primer. Now this one's nice. I do think somebody else can get use out of this. It doesn't do much for my primers, but it does leave a nice canvas for makeup, so this one will be passed along. This one is from Smashbox. It's the Primerizer Primer. Now I do like this one, so I am going to be keeping this just to use it up. Next one is this one from Tarte, and it is the Timeless Smoothing Primer Base, and I do like this one. This one I did get off a recommendation from Tati. This is the High Spreadability Fluid Primer from The Ordinary. Now I do like this one. I did use it in a video, and I do want to play around with it just a little bit more. We have this one from Winky Lux. It is the Whipped Cream Primer, and I think the texture of this one is so interesting, and I do like the way that this kind of sits on the skin after you massage it in, so this one is staying. Now this is the Catrice Prime and Fine Primer. I did use this in a video. I do think it's similar to the e.l.f. Putty Primer, but it's just not as good as it, so this one is going to get passed along. I have here is the Catrice Prime and Fine Keep Me Matte. Now I did get this on another YouTube recommendation. I have not used this. I believe it's still pretty new. I'm going to keep this to play along with it a little bit longer. This Wet n Wild Water Drop Primer. Now I love this one. I think this is a great hydrating primer. It is really cheap, but just keep in mind it is less than the 1 ounce standard, so you are getting a little bit less product, but you're getting it at the Wet n Wild price point. Next one I have is the Ordinary High Adherence Silicone Primer. Now I did get this off a YouTube recommendation like most of my makeup. This is a silicone primer like it says, and it's supposed to be like gripping. I have not used this product, so this is staying in my collection. This one from e.l.f. It doesn't even have like a name of it, but it's just like a lotiony primer, and I got this back when I used to watch Laura Lee before all of that drama, and honestly I kind of stopped watching her videos because anything that she recommended I tried did not like. I do not like this product. It smells weird. It doesn't really do anything for my skin. It's kind of like a lightweight moisturizer, so this one is going to go in the trash because it is old. So these are staying in my collection. Let's just bring those little babies out. So these are my professional. These two are samples and this is a little travel size. These are staying in my collection. I do think this is a pretty good primer. It's not my favorite formula for pore filling, but it is a really good formula, so these are staying. I recently received this one in an Ulta order. I got this as like a little free sample with the set, and I do like the texture of this. It does have an SPF of 35, but it does have that pore filling texture, so I'm interested in seeing how this works, so this is gonna stay. The first one I have in this little basket is this one from YSL, the Touche Éclat Blur Primer. Now, I have tried this quite a bit. I don't really know if I love it or hate it. It's kind of like that slippy kind of feel, that silicone primer. I think I'm gonna go ahead and pass this along. It's more of a bougier primer anyways. I don't think I would buy the full size just because of the price point of YSL. I think this would work for somebody else. I'm just gonna go ahead and pass this along. This one's the Becca Velvet Blurring Primer. I've used this a couple of times. I'm kind of confused about this. I'll probably use this in a video. I even like spilled some on the packaging, so it looks all crusty and gross. But I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this one. This one's one of those products that kind of confuses me. It's not like any other formula that I've tried, so this is definitely going to stay, and I might actually use this in a video. Now, this is the Hourglass Mineral Veil Primer. This is so good. I love this primer. I love the way it makes my skin feel. It's not super pore filling. It's not hydrating. It's kind of like, I don't really know how to explain this primer. It's just really smoothing and just makes my skin look really nice. So I definitely am going to finish this up, and then I might actually buy the full size, even though it's kind of pricey, but I do think it's worth it. This is a little sample of the Too Faced Replenishing Face Primer. Now, I have heard great things about this one. I just haven't really tried it out enough. So this is definitely staying in my collection, and we're going to be trying it out a little bit more. Now, this is the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. I do enjoy this one. I do think it's nice. It's out of these similar textures, this is the best one I've tried, so this is going to stay in my collection. This is the Becca First Light Priming Filter. This is so nice. It just leaves my skin looking so glowy and hydrated, and it just makes my skin look healthy. And I do really love this underneath a pore filling primer, so this is staying. All right, now these two are the Ulta Poreless Face Primers. I have not tried them out yet. Now, I do want to try this one before I open up this one, so maybe I'll try this out on camera with you guys, and we'll see how we feel about it. If not, I will just pass them along. And then this one from Juice Beauty, I'm just gonna go ahead and throw away. It's kind of old. It kind of has a weird smell. I don't know if it is because it's like plant-based, but because of the weird smell, I'm definitely not gonna put this in my face, and I'm definitely not gonna pass this along. So unfortunately, this is gonna get thrown out. Same thing with this Laura Geller Spackle Tinted Primer. Now, this just really has a bunch of glitter in it, and I don't love that, so that's why it's kind of sat in my collection for as long as it did. So this is just gonna get thrown out. The Milani Soft Focus Glow is one of my favorites, and this has stayed in my collection. This is the Becca Mattifying Primer. I don't like this one. I do find that this pills up under my makeup, so it's just gonna go. So I do have these two from Dr. Brent. This is the Pore No More Original Formula, and this is the Luminizer Formula. Now, I do like both of them. I think I like this one just a little bit more, so this one is going to get passed along. Makeup Forever Smoothing Primer. I do like this one. I do want to use it up, so this is gonna stay in my collection. This is the Smashbox Pore Minimizing Primer. I do think that this is one of the best pore minimizing formulas, so this is staying in my collection, especially since I'm almost done with both of these. This is the Hailey's Beauty Primer. It is said to be a dupe for the Smashbox one that I just spoke about. I do have 3 of them. When I placed an order and I knew that I was getting 3 of these, I thought they were going to be full size, either ½ an ounce or 1 ounce products, but if you can see here, there's only 0.23 ounces, so these are pretty small. So I am going to be keeping all 3 of these since these are new in my collection, and I do have to test this out. This is the Maybelline Master Prime Hydrating Primer. I do love this. I think it's a great formula for a hydrating primer, especially for the drugstore, so this is definitely staying in my collection. These are my little travel sizes of the Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base. I do love this. I do think this is the best hydrating primer out there. I think it's really nice. This primer really sinks into the skin, and I am going to be using this up and possibly in the future buying a full size. So these are staying in my collection. So this is still kind of a lot for me, and I do want to make sure that I'm using the products that I like and the products that I want to try out. So we're going to go ahead and go through these and make sure that everything is worth keeping. So when I first look at this, I immediately get drawn to these two. These are good drugstore options, but I'm honestly not super interested in using these anymore. I feel like there's better products out there, so these two are gonna get passed along. I do want to try this out. Now, Also, this Becca one, I do think it's interesting, but I just don't think the formula is amazing. And if I use it already a couple times, didn't love it, still feel like I have to make an opinion on it. I kind of don't have the highest hopes for this, so this one is gonna go. All right, let's see. Anything else? So I do feel really good about this, so this is everything that I'll be keeping. All right, guys, and these are my concealers, so we're gonna go ahead and go into this next. So for concealer samples, I do have these two, one from Too Faced and one from Anastasia. I will be keeping these, and I kind of want to do a full face of samples. I think that would be fun. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep those maybe for that video. The first one I have is my Jeffree Star Cosmetics concealer. Now, I do not plan on supporting Jeffree Star Cosmetics in the future, but I do have a couple of his products, so they are more than likely going to be staying in my collection. But this concealer, I don't reach for very often. I do think it's a good formula. I just think I got too light of a color. Because I am no longer supporting the brand, I will not be picking out my shade. So for now, I think I am going to keep this one just because I do like the formula, and if I have to lighten something up or highlight, this is a really nice formula to do so. This is the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind. I do like this one. Now, because I have a little bit more color to my skin, this is a tad bit too light. I can still make it work, so I'm going to keep it. This is my Tarte Shape Tape. Now, this is a super old concealer. This does have to get thrown out, so it is going. The L'Oreal Infallible Full Wear Concealer, I do think is a dupe for Tarte Shape Tape, and I do like to use this for what I would use Tarte Shape Tape for, which is cut creases and just a little bit more detail work. This is a really matte full coverage concealer, so I am going to be keeping this. These are my e.l.f. Camo Concealers. Now, this was the first shade that I picked up, and it is way too tan for me, so this will be getting passed along, and I'm going to be keeping the lighter one, which is in Medium Sand. Same thing with the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. I had initially bought this one, and this one's a little bit too deep for me. This is Medium Sand. I thought they would be the same shade, but nope, this one's too dark, and this is my perfect shade. This is the shade Light Beige, so Medium Sand is just gonna get passed along. I do think I have a friend that could use this, so I think she'll like it. And then this one is staying. These are my JCat Stay Assurance Concealers. Now, I did recently use this in a video and explain that I had bought two of them because I saw some swatches on the JCat Instagram page, and this one seemed way deeper, and this one seemed maybe like a good highlighting shade. But because I think they're oxidizing and they're not true to the shade that you kind of get out of the tube, I'm only going to be keeping this one in Custard, which is the one that I used in the video, which is still seemed way too light for me at first, but I do need to play around with it to see how the oxidation really works, and if it does oxidize, even this one is going to be way too light for me, so this is going to get passed along. And I will be keeping the shade in Custard. This is my ColourPop Pretty Fresh Concealer. I do like this one. This is in the shade Light 45W. If you need a reference, I do like this concealer. I do think it's really good, so it is staying. Now, I did make an order on Haley's Beauty's website, and this was the concealer. So this is the newest concealer to me, so I do have to kind of try it out and use it. I'll let you guys know how I feel about it. Now, this is gonna stay, obviously, because I just bought it, so staying. This is my Maybelline Fit Me Concealer. As you can see, it is beat up, it is used. I love this formula. I think it's such a great medium coverage concealer where it still looks natural on the skin and never looks cakey. So this is obviously gonna stay because it is very well loved. Now, this is my second tube of the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Concealer. I do think this is a great formula if you can find your shade. The shade range isn't the best, but I find that this one in medium beige works for me, and I think it's a great lightweight formula similar to the Maybelline Fit Me. This is a slightly thicker formula than the Maybelline Fit Me, and if you do let it sit on the skin and blend it out after it's kind of set down but not completely dried out, it gives you the most beautiful finish, and so for that reason, this is staying. These are my NYX full coverage concealers. I do like this formula. I usually use them to clean up the brows or kind of clean around my mouth if I'm doing more of a full coverage look and I need that really nice crisp line. I do think that a pot concealer gives you that way better than a liquid concealer, and especially since it won't bleed into your lip or it won't bleed into your brows, I would like to keep these around just for that, so these are staying. And back when I used to watch Nicole Guerrero, like super back in the day, this is like years ago, this was one of the first correctors I ever bought. And I don't use this anymore because it is so old, but I just kind of keep it for nostalgic purposes. And yeah, this is gonna stay just for nostalgia purposes. I will not be using this on my face, in case you're curious. This is just one of those collectible items that I love. And that is what I'm keeping for my concealer collection. And this is how I do store my primers and concealers. Now these two products I do store together. So this is the new setup and this is how I will be storing it. All right guys, that is this video. If you went ahead and liked it, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Go ahead and subscribe. I upload every single Friday. Also follow me on my socials at Instagram, Snapchat, and you know, if TikTok is still around, at Corina Sarah MUA. Let me know. I probably am going to be doing a makeup look next, just to kind of break up all the declutters. But I mean, like I said, my makeup collection isn't going to change very much because I am going on that makeup no buy. So I think the next time I should be purchasing makeup, if I do, is supposed to be Black Friday, Cyber Monday weekend. So not until the end of November. So my makeup collection is going to change. I can kind of like sort out these declutters and spread them out throughout the next few weeks. So I hope you guys are okay with that. I have the most minimal amount of makeup. If you do want to see a no makeup look, which is basically what I have on today, let me know. I hope you have a great day and thank you for watching today's video. Bye.